All right, so here's my Lotus run. 2 weeks ago, 729, 206 bill DPM, right? You see 420 time of fight, pretty good peaks, similar. And then this is going to be my new personal best. This is with shade split. So the reason I want to showcase this was because my previous PR was without shade. This one was with the shade. Pretty much the same team. And you'll see the DPS is 248. So 40 bill, over 40 bill damage, so about 20% more damage. Just, difference, PR. And there are a few other factors in this run where I think my cap 2 weeks ago was 50.7, and this one is 50.9, and this one is 51.7. So decent amount, big difference there, and you'll see it kind of in the numbers, but you're going to see that cap difference is not like as impactful as you think. So right here, I'm going to kind of show side by side. And unfortunately, the split view was funky. It kind of cut off the screen, so I did it this. So the big screen is the old run, the lowest PR, and then the top right corner is the new personal best. And I wanted to pause it right here because for all those people that play Paladin or any class, I'm going to show you just right off the bat how impactful it is to get your attacks in ASAP. So for my Paladin here, right, I try to get off the mount a little bit early. Maybe not. So like you'll see right here how much damage I already did in the top right corner. You can't even see that. But like it's already at 11 bill right here, 7 bill. So just getting a few attacks in right at the start, especially for duration-based classes like Paladins, every second counts, right? And you'll notice it adds up real quick. And so I'm going to pause it right here. So once I finally got all my burst in, I just used my V3 on both of them. They just came off a cooldown. So I did 131 here, and then in the top right is about 160, right? It's kind of hard to see, but that's a significant difference, right? So right off the bat, just the burst, this is just from split, right? Nothing really changed that much, maybe a few attacks in here or there, but that is a big difference just in the first 15 seconds, right? Just because it's shade split. And you'll see, I don't know if you saw, but the lines were 52 mil plus versus I think 38. So 14 mil difference per line for my burst adds up a ton. Right, so you can see the top run and across the board, right? The top run is just doing more DPS overall, right? So like everyone is doing more damage. Second, third, fourth, and so right here, the first minute, I'm at 310 versus 350 plus, right? So 40 bill difference in the first minute, basically identical runs. Pretty insane to see, right? So that's a lot of damage difference. You could say 10, 15%, but in a short period of time for burst, that's 10, 50% now is, look, that's like 40, 50 bill, right? And it looks like at the bottom in phase one, so the PR, time of fight obviously mattered, right? You can see in the faster run, right? So right here, same time, but we just 90 seconds versus 75 seconds difference. And that's pretty crucial because in the faster run, right, I'm actually going to be able to clear phase two before Echo, right before Echo comes up. So actually I'm able to mount up in the top right corner between the transition and save me a few seconds. Not a huge difference, but those add up, right? So I tried to mount up here so that, a few seconds, like 1 to 2 seconds, weren't wasted. And I don't know what I'm doing here, but didn't mount up. So it wasn't really that big of a difference because it took me a while to get started. But in the old record, right, a few seconds are ticking off between the transitions and things like that. But again, able to use my burst earlier, and here's shade split in the top right corner. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, so I wasn't able to get my V3 up with shade split, but obviously all these blast attacks are hitting much harder and doing more damage, and that is kind of why I'm doing significantly more damage too, right? So it's pretty insane to see. And the nice part was both runs, we had platforms right off the bat, so I was able to stun. We didn't have any purple orb phases, so we were basically doing full uptime. And you can see right here, right? Even though the first run is going to be faster by about 45 seconds, you can see about 3 minutes in, this is the ideal, kind of the maximum peaks of Paladins. My old PR was about 672, and this one is about 780, 80 plus, right? So over 3 minutes, that's what, 40 bill DPM difference. I think it was 260 something versus 222, right? So again, 20% difference. 20% difference. Shade split. May not be all of it, but that's about right. If it's 15 to 20%, kind of, especially in this 3 minute window, right, where you're getting maximum value, that adds up. That is huge, just from one skill. One skill that's up, that we used, 3 times in this run. Pretty insane, right? Pretty insane. And so the top right, we're going to finish it off right here. Obviously, 864, right? So 864 compared to 735. Again, huge difference. 125 build difference in the runs. And this is across the board. Look, Intusha did 150 bill more damage. We had some other players here as well do well, but you can just see like the damage across the board is higher, 10. And if it's 10%, like, right, for me, if everyone's getting 10, 15% better, the more damage you do, the higher your cap, the more impactful that's going to be, right? 14 mil line difference for your burst is insane, right? So this bottom run is going to take a little bit longer, right? You can see, and time of fight does matter, right? I'm not going to like overlook it, because especially for Paladins, where I'm doing barely any damage right now in this time frame, so my DPS is going to suffer. I think more things just happen, right? Moving around more, get knocked back more, like possibility of dying, purple orb phase, like there's just more possibilities. Like people died here, takes a little bit longer, back-to-back stuns, or back-to-back lightning electrocution phase, and it just, your DPS can be dependent on the rest of your team. If you have a good team, the runs are faster, things like that, right? So 890, the 890 bill in 45 seconds more, right? Insane, right? So this is just a one run, a snippet of what the possibilities could be if you just had a shade, and why shades are still very valuable in runs like this. So it's just an alt shade too, right? That still can provide value. So right here, you're going to see the results by the numbers, right? And the main thing you want to look at is the peaks, right? The peaks here are huge. And you see 350 bill plus for that first minute versus 306. And then again, in that third minute, 350 bill versus 272. So that is 80 bill difference in that third minute, and a 45 bill difference in that first minute. That's over 100 something bill right there, right? 140 bill right there. Now you can see that the second minute and the third minute are my older PR was actually higher, but that was because, phase 1 took a little bit longer. In our PR run, we were transitioning between phase 1 and phase 2, and then phase 2 and phase 3 during this second minute window, right? So I'm not doing any uptime, any DPS, but the value is way more valuable here, having full uptime here, right? And then we're going to look at kind of the breakdown in the numbers even more. of each skill. And this is where it kind of gets, you can see the results, right? So the main one that you want to look at is, for Paladin specifically, is our V3. And so you want to look at straight up here, 2 uses, both, right? 208 bill, average of 43 per line, 43 mil per line. And the old one is 173, right? The line counts are about the same, but it's 36 mil lines average, right? So each line is hitting 7 mil difference. So that's why it's 35 bill plus difference. And that adds up, right? Obviously, that by itself is 10 bill DPM over a 3-minute fight. And then you can just see our V4, Mighty Mjolnir, does another 30 bill difference. Hammers of Righteousness, just, you can see the max lines are just hitting a little bit, are hitting 52 mil. But the average lines are higher as well. So if every average line is hitting more, just the damage adds up. And this is for every skill. And so that is just one kind of example of why Shade Split can be valuable. Longer fights, again, it's going to fall off. It's not going to have as much of an impact. Shorter fights, it's going to be way more impactful, right? You saw just that first minute, I did 50 bill more DPM in this first minute, right? If it was a 1-minute fight, shoot, that right there, 40 bill, 50 bill, right? 45 bill, just the first minute. So pretty insane to see, right? And I kind of didn't really fully understand still how impactful Shade Split was until I actually ran with a shade. Right? I knew it was very good still, but just to see this, the 14, and the biggest thing for me is the 14 mil, almost 14 mil lines more in that 10-second window. So if you can put all of your burst in that 10-second window, oof, yeah, that is a ton. That's, like I said, that could be 40, 50, the more caps, 60, 70, 80 bill more damage if you do it right. Pair that with Defense Smash 4, look out, right? And in any content, that adds up. That adds up. So it's, I just want to share with you guys kind of this. This is kind of what I do. I look side by side, kind of compare DPS, how can I improve? And it didn't feel like the run was any different, right? The run was obviously faster, but my gameplay was almost identical. But the results, 20% more damage, speaks for itself. Huge. And 20% from 200 to almost 250, that looks way like a much bigger jump. A much, much bigger jump. It's pretty cool to see. Right? So, I mean, get yourself a shade, find yourself a shade. Shades still have impact, still have value, especially in these shorter fights where you can use it back to back to back with time leap and things like that. 3-4 minute fight, the best value, obviously. So let me know in the comments what kind of results you guys have seen as well. This is just one boss or another. I haven't even tested it even farther than this, but obviously this is insanity. This is insanity. And if you guys made it all the way to the end of the video, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe and join the Discord community. The Echo Clan community is growing, the best community in the game right now. And if you want to take your gameplay to the next level, improve your gameplay, do more damage, do more DPS, you definitely want to subscribe. The first 7 days are free and you're going to get full access to everything in the channel. So you definitely want to check that out. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next time.